Good morning, gang. Happy Thursday. So yesterday I did that video when they try to take it all from you, right? And I had put in the clip of the one lady talking at the Hawkins County, Tennessee County Commissioners meeting. A lot of you guys watched that. A lot of you guys shared that. And some people are getting awakened, I guess, if you want to use that term, about what is going on. It's a lot more than just one little county in Tennessee that this is going on, guys. Anybody that thinks the 15-minute cities is a pipe dream, that this is actually what's planned for us, if they think that's a conspiracy theory, they're smoking more crack than Hunter, okay? I got an email yesterday from Dan Collier, and Dan lives down in the Chattanooga, Tennessee area. Okay. Kind of interesting. He talked about the Save Chattanooga meeting yesterday. Actually, it would be Tuesday. Talking about where the people there are trying to stop Chattanooga from becoming a 15-minute city. I want you to understand something here. Just because you live somewhere that is red doesn't mean there aren't liberals around, and vice versa. Okay. There were only 3 counties in 2020 that voted for Joe Biden: Davidson in Nashville, and then 2 counties around Memphis. Chattanooga is in the southeast corner of Tennessee. Red as red gets, okay? Everything west of east of Nashville was solid red, okay? Yet we have a whole bunch of people in Chattanooga who apparently think that 15-minute cities are a good idea, and they sit on the City Planning Commission. Now, maybe you want to take a look at what's going on around you. Now, for me, they're not going to turn this area into a 15-minute city, but that doesn't mean they can't do it to Knoxville, okay? You live out in the sticks somewhere, you live in the suburbs of a city or whatever, doesn't mean they don't turn the city into some 15-minute city. I want to give you what they're talking about doing in Chattanooga, okay? This is where it gets crazy. First off, emission-free zones. That means no cars, okay? Nothing but electric buses and auto taxis. That's it. Okay, electric vehicles only, 15-minute city, no parking, you can't go anywhere, you have no personally owned vehicle, POV, okay? Limits on where you drive if you've got an electric vehicle, and how many times a year you can go there. This is the city telling people you're only allowed to go to that store or that doctor's office so many times, okay? Forced recycling with fines if you mistakenly put plastic in the paper bin. Now, some places have had recycling for 30 years, okay? You think about the deposit on tin cans or whatever it would be. Hey, no problem. And I want everybody to understand real quick. By no means am I saying, hey, throw your trash out the car window. I live in the country. I want to keep it pretty, okay? Putting everybody in a hamster cage is not going to do that, okay? Let's talk about how pretty some of the cities are right now. Go walk through New York. Go walk through Chicago. Go walk through Detroit or St. Louis or Baltimore, okay? And tell me how clean they are because of the recycling programs have worked so well, okay? That would be it, okay? How about this? Inventory of private property. Chicago tried this years and years and years ago where they had a personal property tax, okay? I'm just giving, where they literally come into your house and say, you have 2 couches, a kitchen table, 3 lamps, and a stereo and a television. Here's your tax bill for what you own, okay? But inventory of private property, including the animals you own, birds, trees, whatever, to ensure that you don't destroy any of them. Can't cut a tree down, okay? and fines if you do so. Okay? They would put green easements around all the streams, around all the ponds, and even on private property. They'll tell you what you can put where on your property, is what they're telling you here, and tell you what you can build and what you can't build. I'm sorry, sir, you can't put up those evergreen trees. You can't build a smokehouse. You can't build a garage. It's my freaking property. I'll do whatever I damn well please. Okay? This is it. I'll link this below, but if you go through their climate action plan, okay, has 6 goals and 103 strategies that they claim, okay, covering everything from transportation to buildings, to waste, to green spaces, to waterways, to jobs, and to equity. We have to make sure that X amount of this group or that group or this group winds up getting the jobs. This is socialism. Now I want to give you this. You look at Eastern Europe, okay? For any of you that have been there, know anything about it, okay? The countries of Eastern Europe, the former Soviet bloc, if you've ever been there, obviously I've been to a few countries, you have large cities and nothing in between them, okay? I drove from Krakow to Warsaw 18 years ago. You were driving through empty nothingness. All the people were in Krakow and all the people were in Warsaw. When I went to visit Mrs. P, she was in Moscow, one of the most populated cities in the world. We took a train to St. Petersburg, 4 hours by a high-speed train. Looking out the window the whole way, there was next to nothing in between St. Petersburg and Moscow. Because communism forces everybody into tight little neat balls where they can be controlled. Would anybody disagree with me that the Soviet Union controlled their people? Nobody lived outside the city. Nothing was given there. Maybe you lived in Ufa, or maybe you lived in one of the other cities. But there weren't, oh, I've got 10 acres, 15 acres out in the country. I live in a little town of 3,000 people or whatever. There wasn't that. Maybe spots here and there, you'd have a little bit of a rural community that was totally cut off from the rest of the country, okay? There wasn't, at any time, okay, a TV station, a radio station, whatever it would be, that you could tune into. There wasn't a store to go to. It was just the people that refused to move into the cities, okay? 99% of the people wound up going into the cities. And every one of them will tell you they were packed in like sardines, and you look at some of the ugliest buildings that you could find to live in. I mean, I've told you many times about the Khrushchevskys and stuff like that. You know, what they called the apartments. They built these big concrete monstrosities that were named for whoever the premier was at the time. When I was in Poland, we stopped at the family farm, if you will. That was about halfway between Krakow and Warsaw. It was a very narrow strip of land, maybe about 100 feet wide and maybe about 2,000 feet long. That was it, okay? That was the farm. It was a one-room wooden shack with a fireplace in it and a table. They slept on the floor. They ate on the table whatever they could grow. They had one cow. That was it, and that was for milk, okay? So they could make butter or cheese or have milk or whatever. And other than that, they ate what they grew. There wasn't a store to go to. There were a couple other people relatively close. There was a teeny tiny church, and that was it. This is what they are trying to get us to become. Communist Eastern Europe. And unless we look at this and go, I gotta make some noise. As Dan said in his email, the county commissioners presented this to each other, and they all bobbleheaded their way to, yeah, this sounds like a good idea. And so they want to have all this implemented, if you go through to it, by 2040, that they're going to be a zero carbon city. There's going to be no pollution. There's going to be no trash because everything will be recycled. I mean, these are pipe dreams. And every time some idiot has a pipe dream like this, everybody else suffers. Like I said, I'm all for recycling, okay? I'm all for keeping the trash off the streets. I'm all for everything to protect the environment. I don't want chemicals in my food. I don't want chemicals in the lake. I don't want chemicals in the streams and stuff like that, right? Okay? Totally get you. But you don't go so far overboard that you say nobody's allowed to use, for example, paper anymore. You can't use toilet paper. Let's go back to the movie Demolition Man. Hey, we got to use the 3 seashells, right? Okay, because that's creating waste. No. Okay. We need, as people that love this country, I don't care if you're a Democrat, an independent, a Republican, a conservative, a Martian, whatever. If you're a liberal, please go put a gun in your mouth, okay? But everybody else, we need to get in front of these planning commissions and say hell no, because they are doing this without the people's approval. Like I said, Chattanooga was totally Trump, okay? Wasn't even close. Yet they're going to turn it into a World Economic Forum 15-minute city because, 8 people or 12 people or whoever sit on the planning commission think that they're going to make the decisions for everybody. I've said this many times. Run for school board. Run for the planning commission. Run to be dog catcher. Do something. We are past the time when it comes up and says, when everybody says, somebody needs to do something about this. Well, guess what, folks? Each one of us is a somebody, and it's about damn time we do something about it before it's too late to do anything about it. Pinball out.